Hello again. Today's video blog is going to be a little more of a Q&A. I've created a couple of questions that I think are very relevant to what I'm trying to do with my book. And the first thing, basically, that I'm going to talk about is why books like mine need to be written. The bottom line is the more stories that are told, the more of our experiences that are shared, the more likely somebody is to be able to find some peace and acceptance within themselves. I know as I was growing up, one of the things that was very, very difficult for me was feeling that I was very alone. I knew that there were gay people out there once I reached puberty and my hormones started going on, but I still felt like we were a very limited population. It's through stories like mine, through works by Paul Monet and some of the other great writers that have told their stories, that I believe that we find a common connection. We reach some common ground where we understand what it is to be who we are. Who we are is extremely difficult to categorize. We come in many different shapes, sizes, packages. We have various likes and dislikes. Even within the community, there are different fetishes, some a little more extreme than others. The thing to remember is every story is unique, but within each story is a common thread. There is that point in our lives when we are trying to figure out who we are and how we fit into this world. Some of us navigate the obstacles with a lot more finesse. Some are able to simply come out and be exactly who they are, who they want to be. Others, such as myself, and through my story you'll see, there's a huge fight. There's a fight between being who you are and who you think you should be. What I've come to learn through writing this book, and currently I'm working on another book, is there is no should. We are who we are. What matters is how we express that, how we live that life, and the people that we surround ourselves with. There's always a way to be able to progress with your life and be who you want to be who you need to be. So often I'm faced with the question of why did I choose this life? And my answer is always the same. I did not choose to be gay. I truly do not believe that anybody chooses to be gay. What I did do, and ultimately, I made the choice to live my life. I made the choice to accept who I was and to fully embrace it. And there is a difference between choosing to be gay and choosing to accept who I am that cannot be changed. So it's for this reason that I write the book. I write the book to show the struggles that I went through. My struggles are no different. They're not unique. They're simply one version of the same path that so many of us have to follow. I'd also like to give a message to parents. Lately, I've been on the internet, which I do quite a bit. I mean, that's one of my main sources of information and inspiration. And I keep coming across all these fantastic stories of parents who have accepted their children for exactly who they are. I've also come across stories of those parents who initially didn't, but through time, they learn to accept that which cannot be changed. Some of the stories have been touching. I heard one father speak about how he was a Christian deacon, and how in the very beginning, when his son came out to him, he absolutely could not accept it, and he did what he believed was the right thing to do, and that was to kick his son out. Over time, he became closer to his son, and he learned to accept the fact that love is love. And one of the things that I found very intriguing by what he said that Christians were really good with judgment, but they were not good with the love. And that, unfortunately, is what has moved a lot of the LGBT community away from spirituality. Spirituality has nothing to do with religion. My message for parents is to understand that your children are struggling. They're looking for acceptance from you. They're looking for love. Even if you can't understand the lifestyle, if you can't wrap your head around why they are gay, what you can wrap your head around is the fact that your children are a product of you. You raise them. You love them. And love should be unconditional. It does not matter who one sleeps with. What does matter is how they live their lives. And if your children are able to live a happy, healthy, prosperous life, then it does not matter who they choose for a partner. Many parents feel that they've failed. I've heard certain parents question what they did wrong. The bottom line is you did not do anything wrong. The only wrong that might be done is turning your back on your children when they most need your help. It's a very, very lonely period in a person's life when they are coming to terms with their sexuality. When you're heterosexual and your hormones are flowing, sex can be confusing, can be extremely confusing. When you're gay and those same hormones are flowing, the entire process becomes 1,000 times more confusing, because you know that what it is that you desire and what it is that you want is not necessarily what society is willing to accept. Society has come a long way in the last couple of years. There's no question about that. Gay marriage, for the most part, is being accepted little by little worldwide. People are coming to understand that it is not a choice. And we're starting to understand that people are people. Love is love. And it becomes a very cliche thing to say, but the truth of the matter is love, regardless of who you love. So my message for parents, again, is just love your children. You do not have to embrace the gay lifestyle. You do not have to agree with it. But if you want your children in your life, then you need to at least love them for who they are and be proud of them for being able to walk on a path that is a little different than you planned. I heard it put best earlier today. I was watching a YouTube video, and in the video, the father was doing a toast to his son who was marrying a man. And he said that when his child was born, both he and his wife had mapped out their entire life. He knew exactly which roads his son was going to follow, what he was going to become. His son had other plans, and his son took an alternate route. Their fear for their son was that alternate route was going to be difficult, full of potholes and dangers and sadness and heartbreak. And they were true. They were absolutely right. But the other thing that they decided once they realized that their son was going to take an alternate route, following the same road but taking an alternate route, they decided that he was not going to take that path alone. There are no detours in life. All of our paths lead to the same place. How we get there is completely up to us. And finally, for this week's blog, I'd like to take a minute and remember all of those who came before us. Those who fought for our rights are now our senior citizens. They are the older generation. And unfortunately, they are being forgotten. They're being left by the wayside because they're no longer young, they're no longer cute, they're no longer desirable. Cities across the United States are filled with senior LGBT members who are extremely lonely. Those that are not lonely generally are the ones that have a little bit of money and they're able to surround themselves with younger LGBT members so that they don't feel lonely. But you can tell every time you walk into a bar or a club that they're really not wanted. With the work that I do through the nonprofit organization that I work with, I've done quite a bit of research on the senior LGBT community and realized just how lonely that they are. Suicide rates among the elderly LGBT community are almost as high, if not higher, than the suicide rates of the younger LGBT community. I personally feel that it's time that both generations come together. The younger LGBT community needs to be grateful for everything that the seniors did for us. It was because of them marching. It was because of Stonewall. It was because of them standing up for the rights that we now have them. We need to share our lives with them. We need to reach out and be a friend. Just because somebody is no longer young and attractive does not mean that they don't serve a purpose. They have stories, they have history, they have experience that we do not have, and we need to be able to join the two communities. I urge any younger or middle-aged LGBT member to reach out to the senior community and offer assistance. Be a friend, be a pal. Take them shopping, spend a day with them, show them that they are not forgotten, and show them that they are still loved. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please like and subscribe. I'll be back. I'm going to try and get my schedule a little bit better. I had intended originally to post once a week. It's been 3 weeks since my first post, and I will do a much better job. Again, thank you for watching, and please remember, love is love. Across the board, love is love. Being gay is not a choice. How you live your life is. Thank you, and good night.